What's up, everybody? I am here at Bristol and I am just finishing up a fuel run here on a new Bristol setup that I have got. So let's see if I can make it back around here without we're sputtering. So here we are. This is the very end of a fuel run. So you can see I'm at 0 laps. This is showing where my tire wear and everything is. So pretty decent tire wear on this setup. I'm going to redo this here, and then actually I can probably just, I guess, go into pit road maybe, if I can make it back around here, and just put tires and fuel in it and go back and rerun it. I ran a 15.3 with this. I'd like to get a 15.4 on film. This is a new Bristol setup. I had some comments on my old Bristol setup that said that the left front tire burned off incredibly quick, which seemed extremely odd to have the left front burn off so quick. But I went out and tested it and had the same problem happen. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but that had never happened before. I did that Bristol setup months ago, didn't have that problem at all. I don't know if something changed in one of the updates they released for the game, or maybe driving stuff. I don't know what it was, but anyway, they were absolutely right. That left front tire burned off incredibly quick. So I went and did a completely new Bristol setup. I ran a 15.3 with this. We're going to put tires and fuel in the car, go out, see if I can get a 15.3 or 15.4 on film. I will show you the setup that I've got. I'll also kind of pull up the lap times there that I ran when I finished the fuel run there. I think that I was there was less than 5 laps of fuel left. I was still able to hit 16.1s, which I think is pretty decent. The last 2 or 3 laps, it did get really squirrely on me, which surprised me, because up until that point, I really didn't have a problem, and I had pretty good tire wear left. So it did get loose at the very end, but again, that was at the very end of the run. So let's see if I can get a decent lap here on video, then we'll talk about the line I run around Bristol and the setup that I use. It seems like at Bristol getting a little heat in the tires helps out some as far as your lap times go. There was a 15.405, almost a 15.3. Got a little high in the turns there. I'll give it maybe 1 or 2 laps, but I think we're going to probably wind up going with that 15.405. Well, we're cranking out the 15.4s. I'd like to get in that 15.3, but I don't think it's going to happen here. I think I'm talking too much. Okay. Alright, so let's talk about, we'll take that 15.405. Let's talk about Bristol here. The track is pretty symmetrical. What I try to do, and I'm going to give you 2 different lines, was a fresh tire and an old tire. What I do is I try to lift. I really don't brake unless I feel like I've overshot the corner. I try to lift pretty early, and I try to dive the car down to the bottom. So about in here, I am out by the wall. But then I'm trying to dive the car to the bottom, and what I'm trying to do is I will turn the wheel, then I will let off the throttle. It seems like turning the wheel before you let off the throttle helps drive the car to the bottom of the track. Then as I'm coming through the corner, I let it push up a little bit. I don't let it push up real high, and again, this is fresh tires. And then I try to get back on the gas. Actually, I think I just passed it. I think about this Coca-Cola emblem here that's below me, that's about where I'm getting back on the gas. And again, I'm trying to come low out of the corner, right down here near the bottom, and then let the car drift out to the high side. Then I run 1 and 2 the same way. You're starting to turn early. You're turning the wheel while you're still on the throttle. Then you lift, let the car go to the bottom, let it push up a little bit in the middle, and then dive it down to the bottom on exit. Now what happens is people talk about the car wanting to spin out at Bristol when the tires wear. I start to change the line as the tires wear. As the tires wear, what I am trying to do is let the car drift up higher in the middle, and then I'm really diamonding it. I'm letting it drift high in the middle, then I'm getting back down to the bottom on exit. What happens that causes the car to spin out is as you're coming out of the turn, you're under full throttle and you're turning the wheel really hard to the left. You're trying to basically still make the turn while you're exiting, and that's going to cause the car to get really loose and want to spin out. Okay, what I recommend is you need to make the car turn in the early and middle part of the corner so that when you are exiting, you're not turning the wheel harder left when you're coming out. You're actually starting to straighten the car up and turn the wheel back to the center as you're exiting, because you've already got the corner made. You've already made the car rotate. To me, a lot of times when you talk about getting loose on exit at Bristol or spinning out coming off the corner, it's more about driving technique a lot of times than setup. Now, when you've got fresh rubber, you can turn the wheel a lot harder and you've got grip. So that's why I'm running a lower line with fresh rubber, and I'm down here and I feel like I can turn the car and everything is going to stick, nothing's going to slide. Once you're about halfway probably into a fuel run is when I move up and have the car coming up here more and really diamonding the corner. So that's how I run Bristol with old tires versus new tires. Now let me show you kind of what we've got here as far as a fuel run. This is on 4 times wear, so I think a full fuel run is 43 laps or so. I think I might have made 44. But if I hit go to the garage, you're going to see this whole run that I was making. Okay, so there is the early laps. There is lap 2 when I hit the 15.372. Then you can see a lot of 15.4s in there with fresh tires. Then we get down here to the laps. Now we're hitting into the 16s. When I get down here, look at the last 5 laps here. Lap 41, I guess 41 I must have really had a problem. But there in lap 39, which is within the last 5 laps of the run, I hit a 16.1. And I think it was shortly after that I started the camera running, or the video running. So that's what I got. Then here's where I came into pit, and we kind of ran some laps there. But that kind of gives you an idea of what the fall off was like. It does get a little, it really got loose on the last probably 3 laps of the run, which surprised me because it didn't give you any indication it was going to do that earlier. But I think that's pretty good for Bristol. You saw the tire wear was really good on it. So let's continue and let's look at the setup here. And this is a completely different setup than what I had before. The bump and rebound settings are there's not a lot to them. The front weight and wedge are more traditional of what I normally run. The original Bristol setup had, I think, a front weight of maybe like 50.3 and a wedge of 49.8, I think, so they were both a lot lower. I've evened up the left and right springs on the back. That just seemed to help the car be a little bit more stable. Tire pressures are about the same. With this setup, I think I was actually more aggressive on the cambers, but didn't have the problem of that left front tire getting used up. So what else? The track bars. I had the track bars even. Most tracks I had the right track bar up a little bit higher, but with the car wanting to get loose on exit is the problem you fight at Bristol. I had to bring it down. I ran really low wheel lock because the the turns at Bristol are banked so much you don't need to turn the wheel a lot. Now, I think that if you're on a controller, you may want to bump that up 3 or 4 clicks. I think that I've heard that if you're on a controller, you need to go a little higher on the wheel lock. So you might want to run a 9, 10, 11, something like that on the wheel lock. Gearing. This is a 4.86 gear, traditional 4-gear setup. You're right into the 7.3 or something, maybe up to a 4.93. This seemed to work the best. This is where I got the best lap times. If you're a little better driver than I am, you might want to try a 3-gear setup where you run a 1.2 and a 4. That would be a final drive ratio of 4.8. If you're a little better driver and carry a little more speed than I do, that setup might work better for you because it's a little taller gear and you can get a little more speed. But that is the Bristol setup that I got. I think I got a time that was a 1/10 quicker than my old setup, and you will not have the problem of the left front burning off. So I hope that works for you guys. Hope you like it. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for the support. Appreciate it very much. And you guys have a great day. You guys keep giving me the great support that I've been receiving. I'll keep trying to put out great content for you. So that's all I got. Enjoy the setup here for Bristol. Hope it gives you guys lots of fast laps.